What we talk about here, Shenmue, Onimusha?
Shenmue 3, Kickstarter, and why I think maybe we should seriously talk about big Kickstarters.
Okay. Funny enough, I made a video about Red Ash.
You did, and I know, eons ago we did a video on Kickstarter,
Yes.
sometime way back when.
Whether or not it's okay to use it.
Yeah.
I think.
But I wanted to talk about...
The answer is yes, it's okay to use it.
Yeah. But I wanted to talk about Shenmue 3 because it's interesting just how it came about and stuff, and like who's actually like where this money is coming from.
Right.
So on Monday, July 20th, Shenmue 3 was successfully funded on Kickstarter. It raised like $6.3 million.
It's a lot of millions.
It originally had a funding of goal of $2 million,
which is horse.
Yes.
That is not their actual goal. The game is going to take a lot more money.
Yeah, and in fact, Yu Suzuki, the creator, even said that in reality he needs like $10 million to do what he wants to do.
That still doesn't even sound like enough.
I know, especially considering that the original Shenmue game cost $70 million back in like 1998.
Yeah, and like I'd assume they're not going to make a game that's like on par with Shenmue 2. They're going to make a game that's on par with games today.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot more money than that.
Yeah, so there's all of that. They just announced that they're going to have a second fundraising campaign, a PayPal campaign, which Mighty No. 9 actually did this.
They did. Yes.
Yeah, and there was that documentary.
I donated to Mighty No. 9.
There's a
donated
documentary, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. That had a Kickstarter campaign, then that had to have another second crowdsourcing campaign because that ran out of money too. So things like that, it's common. But what's the kicker for the Shenmue Kickstarter is that this also has some sort of backing from Sony.
That's the problem.
Right. Like, this is when we start to get into iffy territory. Sony and a production company called Shibuya Productions, which is apparently a fairly like young company. They only have like a few projects.
Right.
I don't think most of them even come out. They're contributing to this project. They haven't said how much. That hasn't been revealed. And Yu Suzuki even went on record in stating that like Sony and Shibuya are not getting any of the Kickstarter money. That money is going directly to fund the game.
Wait, what is this company?
Shibuya Productions.
They're producing it.
Yes,
but they're also funding it.
They're contributing. Let me get his exact words,
because that's very strange.
Sony and Shibuya Productions have been wonderful partners because they believe in Shenmue and want to see the best for the fans in the game. Their investment in and support of Shenmue have helped to realize a sequel that will stand proud with its predecessors. But while it's not business practice to discuss the significant details of the arrangement, I can say that with their assistance on production and marketing end, and in Sony's case with some publishing support as well, Yznet is able to use more of the money we collected through Kickstarter purely for Shenmue 3's development.
Is Shibuya partnered with Sony? Why are they doing this for free?
I don't. That's part of the whole
that's
confusion.
Weird.
Like,
they must be part of Sony or something.
I don't think they are. As far as I know, they're not.
So why are they doing it for free?
I don't know. They're not doing.
Are they making the game? Who is making the game?
I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's Yznet. YSNet.
Okay.
That is the actual developer of the game. That is Yu Suzuki's company. They are actually making the game.
Something's fishy.
It looks like Sony and Shibuya Productions are really just helping with marketing and some extra publishing fees that may occur.
Let me tell you, they're doing a real good job with marketing if they have to make a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the Kickstarter campaign is the marketing.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world now where creators, they want to make the games they want to make, and the Japanese publishers won't let them, so they turn to Kickstarter.
Right, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, we get that, and the fact that
but when you have it in the Sony press conference, that means Sony already supports it.
Yeah.
So like you have a Kickstarter to see if there is
Interest
in the
Right.
project, not so much to get the money, to see if people want to be a part of it. It's to see if people want it.
Right.
And they had it at Sony's press conference, so they took up that time, meaning that they knew that people would be interested in it already.
Yeah.
So what's the point of having the Kickstarter?
I mean, I guess the Kickstarter really just must have been a way to, prove once and for all that yes, people want Shenmue 3.
I think it was
flat
just
out.
100% a marketing ploy.
You do.
Because it was why would they waste the time of that press conference otherwise?
Well, then why did Microsoft waste press conference time for Phantom Dust?
What was Phantom Dust?
Exactly. Exactly. They announce games at E3 all the time that don't come out or just, fall into the ether. I mean, Shenmue 3 could very well have been one of them. But the fact that it is, Shenmue is surprisingly bigger than I think anybody gives it credit for. And the fact, that people want this game, I think that helps.
I think it was well known by everybody involved that this would be a successful Kickstarter.
Right.
And that they would make their funding and that people would be interested. I think the mystique around the Kickstarter is that this is like an indie thing, which is very much not.
So then if everybody pretty much knew that this would get funded, why does Sony have their hand in it?
Because they've had their hand in it from the beginning.
Right.
That's the real question is if Sony has their hands in it, then why do they need our money?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it could have gone like this. Yu Suzuki could have come out on the Sony stage and said, "Hey, we want to bring this to Sony platform. We want to bring this to Sony platforms. Please kickstart it." And that could have been the end of it. But the fact that word got out that Sony is actually giving money to this project in some capacity, that is where my spider sense got tingling. Where there may be more to this. Why do we need to contribute money to something that Sony is also contributing to? That's something that hasn't been answered very well, I don't think.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And Mighty Number 9, they got a whole bunch of money.
Right. That was
then they got picked up by
Deep Silver.
Yeah, Deep Silver.
Yeah.
Deep Silver was like, "Hey, we want to be a part of this now that there's interest."
Right. Exactly.
But we didn't know that going in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Mighty Number 9, that got started because Keiji Inafune just said, "Hey, I want to make Mega Man," but they won't let me make Mega Man. This was basically I want to make Shenmue 3. Sega is going to let me do Shenmue 3, but I need more money than Kickstarter, will allow. So, hey, Sony, can you help us, basically?
Well, usually when you make a Kickstarter, you go to all of these places. They all say, you always publish people to give you money.
Yeah.
Big companies, and they go no. So then you're like, okay, the people want it anyway. I'll go to the people directly to get my money.
Yeah.
These people went to Sony and said, "Hey, well, I want money to make Shenmue 3." And Sony was like, "Okay,
but
go get more money." That's really weird.
Sony actually pulled this same thing with Harmonix. Harmonix wanted to make Amplitude, and Sony said, "Okay, but you got to prove to us that people want Amplitude."
Yes.
So they went to Kickstarter.
There must have been an easier way to. I mean, Amplitude. I don't really know. That's a tough one to gauge if there's an audience.
I guess, yeah.
Shenmue, I think it would be easier to prove that there's an audience.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because both Shenmue and Shenmue 2 were not successful.
That's because they're
financially.
titles.
Shenmue 2 was an Xbox title.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well it did both.
Yeah.
But it's an Xbox title. Nobody had Xboxes in Japan.
That's true too.
Yeah.
So
it was just doomed. But it was really popular.
Popular. I mean, it certainly yeah, exactly. It has a cult following.
Yes.
But not everything with a cult following, can be a successful Kickstarter. Bad Dudes has a huge cult following. That was a failed Kickstarter for the sequel to that.
But that was a bad Kickstarter.
That was
and that has a cult following for the wrong reasons.
I guess. Well, all right. Counterpoint to that, Cheetah Men 2 has a cult following. That for some reason had a successful Kickstarter.
I don't know what to tell you about that.
Because God hates us. That's the only reason I can think of.
Well, something's weird about it. Why would Sony throw their money in if they think that there might be a chance that they won't get a return on it?
Right.
I mean, they do it all. They always. a company like Sony will throw their money into something and then not get a return on it and then cancel the project and they lose like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That happens. But now they made that public.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they have been working on this for a while and we just don't know.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I know Yu Suzuki's been trying to get this made for years. Like, he's really invested in the Shenmue saga and he wants to get this done. Yeah, I guess, you know, it's the fact that, you know, now that there's crowdsourcing.
I think it'll be great.
You do?
I think it'll come out and it'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
But there's just something weird about it.
It's just,
all I'm saying.
Honestly, like, this could lead to the trend of now, you know, Sony could come out and say, hey, we're going to work on a new God of War game. But
yeah,
you got to prove you want it. Go to Kickstarter.com/God of War. I mean, that's an extreme.
It's totally possible.
That's an extreme case. I'll
it
admit.
could happen.
That's an extreme case. But, you know, it'll start with Amplitude and then move up to Shenmue and then, you know,
it all starts
down
with
the
Amplitude.
Line. Everything starts with Amplitude.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, tell us. Did you contribute to the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter? Are you in support of this? Do you think we're getting a little too conspiracy theory-ish with Sony and Shibuya?
What do you think about Kickstarters in general?
Yeah.
What have you donated to recently? I donated to this one, Elysium Shadow or something.
Yeah.
It was like, it's like coming out for Dreamcast and Ouya.
Nice. I haven't contributed to anything recently. I almost did, but yeah, I forgot.
I totally butchered the name of the one that I just.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You can put it here or something. Leave it in the comments below. At us on Twitter. We stream every Tuesday and Thursday now at 10 o'clock on YouTube. Not on Twitch. We do it on YouTube. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Oh, Twitter.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
First solution, get a fill-in artist. If the main artist is having trouble meeting deadlines, the publisher will get a fill-in artist to do all the rest of the work. This way, the flow of the main story isn't interrupted, and the publisher gets to meet their scheduling deadlines. But this can lead to a lot of inconsistencies.
And it's not like Nintendo games suffer in the looks department either. They've mastered their visual style. It's like Pixar levels of pretty. You can look at it as an extra coat of paint or an extra level of shine, but really these games just sit in QA a little longer, and they make knocking out all of the bugs a higher priority.